Discussion. Senator Fillmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for the sponsor and then some comments, but I'll start with just a couple of questions. He's mentioned a program manager for this program a few times. Is that program manager identified in the bill?
Senator Cullimore.
It is not identified. The State School Board of Education will put out an RFP for this program, and there's no, as far as I know, there's nobody even within the state that's would fit this need at this time.
Okay. Go ahead. Follow up, Senator Fillmore.
There's no, is there a presumed or a favorite organization?
I'm not aware of anybody, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I'd like to read a portion, just a small portion from an email I received from a constituent, because I really think that this gets to the heart about where the disagreement is on this issue between supporters and opponents of this bill and this program, all of whom are very dedicated to quality education, to improving education for children within the state. But here's a quote that a constituent sent to me. Public education isn't about serving a child's individual needs. It's about serving and lifting the community. And I understand that sentiment. And I think that one function of public education that it's doing really well is being a community center. And that's particularly true in rural Utah, but it's only slightly less true in my neighborhood in suburban South Jordan, or even here downtown, right? People love their local high school. We go to local high school football games. They are community centers and community rallying points, and they do serve and lift the community. But that's not all that we ought to expect when it comes to education, right? Our Constitution obligates our legislature to fund an education for every child. And I think about education in terms of a child. And I'd like to talk about one specific child, if I could, Madison Pine. That's not his real name. But Madison was a third grader at Challenger School in 2005 when I was the principal there. And during pickup at the end of the school day, I could always recognize Madison's car further away than anybody else's. It was old at that time. It was a 1992 Dodge Caravan. It was red. And I'm standing here and I can see that car in my mind's eye because the sliding door was broken. And the family couldn't afford to repair it. They held the door closed on this van with yellow rope that tied it shut. This is a family that valued their kids' education, and they sacrificed a lot to provide what they thought was the best education for their child. Generations ago, Mr. President, we asked ourselves, what can we do to lift our communities, to serve, to educate the children that live here in this state? And over those generations, we worked to put together a really remarkable public education system, a vast network of schools that were divided into school districts. And over the generations, we've amended and improved on that. And we've added a lot of choice within our system. We added charter schools and magnet schools. We divided some school districts. We've got online schools and programs. We've got a statewide online education program. We have, I think, the broadest open enrollment law in the country. And that's working pretty well for the vast majority of students and children in Utah, including my own son, who's just doing great in Jordan School District, and I love his class and his school and his principal and his teacher. But we can't ignore the unique needs of individual children that are misaligned with the public education system, who need something different. We need to ask ourselves a slightly different question. Instead of, what can we do to provide an education for 700,000 kids in this state? We need to ask ourselves, what can we do to provide the best education we can for this child? And that is a difficult question to ask because it requires 700,000 answers. And the only way we're going to be able to effectively answer that question 700,000 times is through empowering parents with choice and control so that they can choose the education that is best for their child, even if the unique needs of their child are different enough from the vast majority that they're going to be better served outside the public education system. But under our current structure, we provide no help for families like Madison. They are cut off. We're built on the idea that we'll provide good tools for almost everybody. But for kids who don't quite fit or whose parents find that another option is better, there's just no support. Like we're saying to parents, here we are, we've got this great system, and we want to help your child. Come and join our team. We've got a good system, it works well for most kids, you can conform to what we're doing here, you'll be okay. And that actually is a laudable sentiment. But it misses an important point. It's a little bit backwards because the parents are not on our team, Mr. President. We are on their team. And we need to be on every child's team, even if that team is outside the traditional system that works very well for most kids. Excuse me. We should have been on Madison's team when he was commuting to and from school in a car that was literally held together with rope. Madison's about 27 now, and he's done great. He's a graduate of Westminster College, he's a registered nurse, and someday soon, he is very likely to have children that are going to benefit from whatever we decide here today. We need to make sure that Madison knows that we are here for him and for his children. We need to ask Madison the right question. What can we do to make sure that your child has the educational opportunity that's best for him? Madison should know that. Whatever his unique needs, we will be there. Mr. President, we are on Madison's team. I want to be on Madison's team, and it's for him and his future family that I'll be voting aye.
Thank you.